This was a gift from my father-in-law who had it in his warehouse, and when I inquired about it, he offered for me to take it home, and that's about it. I don't really know much of the history about it.
The guest arrived with what seems like a curious bronze sculpture, a piece gifted to him by his father-in-law. The appraiser immediately recognized the signature, etched in Russian, and revealed the name of the sculpture. Eugene Lanceray, a celebrated Russian artist who had trained in Paris during the 19th century. Lanceray was known for capturing heroic Russian subjects in exceptional detail, and this particular piece was no exception. It depicted Svyatoslav, a legendary medieval warrior, and included an inscription translating to,
"We would rather fall in battle than bring shame upon Russia's land."
It featured a rare foundry mark, a stunning level of craftsmanship, and a rich patina, though it had some corrosion issues that fortunately could be restored. Then came the staggering revelation. Another version of this very piece had recently sold at auction for $147,000. Given the size, quality, and condition, the appraiser estimated this sculpture to be worth between
I would think it probably has a value in the range of $120,000 to $130,000.
Wow.
The guest was stunned.
I don't think the value will be affected.
My head is spinning thinking about that. Wow, I'm really, the hair standing up on my arms. I can't believe this.
This Gustav Stickley music cabinet, designed by Harvey Ellis, is a rare and extraordinary example of early 20th century arts and crafts furniture. Originally included in the furnishings of a summer cottage purchased in 1975, its true value was only recently discovered when a family member, an experienced carpenter, noticed its fine craftsmanship and intricate inlays. Stamped with an early Gustav Stickley mark from around 1903, this piece becomes even more exceptional due to its association with Harvey Ellis, who worked with Stickley for only 7 to 8 months before his passing in 1904. The cabinet exhibits key design elements of Ellis's work, including delicate inlays of pewter, copper, and fruitwood, an arched toe board, an extra long top, and an unusually tall structure. Originally crafted just outside Syracuse, New York, it was intended as a music cabinet for storing sheet music, a piece not commonly seen today. What makes this cabinet truly extraordinary is its impeccable condition. Unlike many surviving examples from that era, this one retains its original finish, with a rich dark patina and glossy surface, precisely as intended by the designer. Given its rarity, provenance, and pristine condition, its auction value is estimated between
probably $80,000 to $100,000.
$80,000 to $100,000?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
This stunning Art Deco emerald ring, inherited from the guest's mother-in-law, has been cherished for years, but its true value is a jaw-dropping surprise. Originally appraised in 1991 for $15,000, its worth has skyrocketed due to the growing demand for high-quality Art Deco jewelry. The emerald centerpiece, cut in a rare sugarloaf shape, is designed to maximize its deep green hue. The Colombian origin of the emerald is a major factor in its desirability, as Colombia is known for producing the world's finest emeralds. Surrounding the center stone are exquisite bullet-shaped diamond baguettes and hexagonal-cut diamonds, enhancing the ring's elegance and symmetry, hallmarks of the 1920s to 1930s Art Deco era. Though the ring bears no hallmark or signature, it is likely American-made, featuring exceptional craftsmanship. Due to the surging Art Deco market, collectors are willing to pay premium prices for pieces of this caliber. At auction, this heirloom could now fetch between
At auction would bring anywhere between $70,000 and $90,000.
a stunning six-fold increase in value from its 1991 appraisal.
Oh my gosh.
That's why I'm really glad you didn't break it apart.
Oh, there's no way. Oh my gosh, Peter, thank you so much.
This towering Chippendale chest of drawers had been a silent guardian of family history, passed down through generations of the guest's family.
My father's family was from Connecticut. I don't know how old it is.
It was believed to have belonged to her great-great-great-great-great-grandfather, none other than Roger Sherman, one of the framers of the Declaration of Independence. Could this piece truly date back that far? This was a monumental Pennsylvania-made tall chest, likely built by German craftsmen in the 18th century. Its walnut wood construction, tulip inlays, and massive dovetailed feet were hallmarks of Pennsylvania furniture making, designed to withstand centuries. One of its most exciting features was the hidden Quaker lock, a clever secret compartment that had been used for stashing valuables or important documents. Though the hardware had been replaced about 100 years ago, the chest was still an extraordinary piece of American history. The guest recalled that, back in the late 1950s or early 1960s, an antique dealer had offered her mother $27,000 for it.
An antique dealer here offered Mother, I think it was $27,000 back in late 50s, early 60s, somewhere in there.
Today, at auction, the chest could be worth between
at least $30,000 to $50,000 at auction.
Is it really? Well, what she said was, keep it in the family.
The Wizard of Oz, released in 1939, remains one of the most cherished films in cinematic history, a masterpiece from Hollywood's golden age. Among its many unforgettable elements were the costumed guards of the Wicked Witch of the West, known as Winkies, who wielded strikingly designed weapons. Spears or pikes crafted specifically for the production. These particular spears were obtained from a California auction house in 1984, purchased for $595. The designs were the work of Adrian, one of the most renowned costume designers in Hollywood, whose creations helped define the visual splendor of classic films. The number of surviving Winky Spears remains uncertain, as MGM Studios, the production company behind the film, held auctions in the 1970s that sold off numerous props, including the iconic ruby slippers and various other memorabilia. Over time, these items have become highly sought-after collectibles, with one Winky Spear selling for $7,500 in the late 1990s. Since then, values have risen dramatically, and today a single spear would command
now on the auction market would bring about $15,000.
Wow.
With two original spears, the total estimated value now exceeds.
And two of them would bring in excess of $30,000.
Excellent.
This Edo Cortez painting, a Parisian street scene, has been hanging unnoticed for 40 years, only to be rediscovered thanks to a comment on Antiques Roadshow. Originally owned by the guest's artist grandparents, who collected pieces during their vacations, the painting was assumed to be just another part of their collection, until now. Edo Cortez, 1882 to 1969, was a French Impressionist painter, best known for his evocative depictions of Paris. His works capture the city's bustling streets, glowing light sources, and shimmering reflections. Despite criticisms of being prolific and formulaic, Cortez developed a unique technique, using a pinprick in the canvas to establish the vanishing point for perspective accuracy. Upon inspection, the appraiser found one of these signature pinholes, confirming the painting's authenticity. Though official authentication through a New York gallery would be the final step, all evidence suggests this is an original Edo Cortez. Given its size and vibrant execution, its auction value is estimated between.
At auction, that should be worth $30,000 to $50,000.
You've got to be kidding me.
For a painting that had been unknowingly displayed as part of everyday life, this revelation is both an emotional and financial surprise, making it a true hidden treasure.
I inherited it from a friend.
This Tiffany glass and decorating company cold air return cover is a remarkable artifact, originally part of the Henry O. Havermeyer residence, one of the most lavishly decorated homes of the Gilded Age. Though initially believed to have come from Brooklyn, the Havermeyer house was actually located at 5th Avenue and 66th Street in New York City. Designed to showcase the Havermeyer art collection, the residence was meticulously decorated by Tiffany in the early 1890s. This particular cold air return cover is a prime example of Tiffany's craftsmanship, incorporating light blue opalescent glass pieces set in a chainmail design. While originally installed in a dimly lit air shaft, when illuminated, the piece reveals stunning translucency and color, enhancing its artistic and historical value. Although additional support beams appear to have been added to the back for stability, the piece remains a rare and highly collectible artifact from Tiffany's early decorative work. Given its provenance, craftsmanship, and scarcity, a retail value of
It could easily sell for between $45,000 and $50,000.
Really?
Yes, really.
The guest arrived with a remarkable piece of history, a set of photo albums from the legendary Harriman expedition. But these weren't just ordinary albums. They were souvenirs personally given to members of the expedition, including the guest's great-grandfather, De Alton Saunders.
He was a botanist. His nickname on this particular expedition was Seaweed Saunders.
However, what made these albums even more extraordinary was the photographer behind the images, none other than Edward Curtis, the celebrated documentarian of Native American culture. The Harriman Expedition, a scientific and environmental survey of Alaska's untamed wilderness, was a monumental journey. Funded by railroad magnate E.H. Harriman, the expedition mapped topography, catalogued plant life, and studied native cultures. Among its elite members were top scientists, artists, and even Harriman's extended family, all of whom set sail on this grand adventure. Flipping through the pages, the appraiser immediately recognized the significance of the images. Not only were they historical treasures, but they contained original silver photographic prints, each signed in the negative by Curtis himself. These were not mere reproductions, they were first-hand visual accounts of one of Curtis's earliest photographic assignments, before he became one of the most famous photographers of the American West. After carefully examining the set, it is estimated that, at auction, the pair of albums could fetch between
Would be $30,000 to $40,000.
The guest was stunned.
Thank you so much for bringing them in.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
When the guest placed a bid on a mysterious yet compelling drawing at a local auction, it wasn't just for personal gain, it was to support her town's museum. Little did she know that this seemingly modest purchase would turn out to be a masterpiece by one of America's most celebrated artists, Thomas Hart Benton. She was drawn to the artwork's connection to the river, a subject that had always spoken to her soul. The piece depicted a riverboat and a boathouse, evoking the essence of the Mississippi or Missouri rivers, where Benton, a Kansas City native, spent much of his time. As the appraiser examined the drawing, he immediately recognized Benton's hallmark style, a blend of realism and movement that defined the regionalist art movement of the early 20th century. This school of painting focused on American landscapes and rural life, and Benton was one of its pioneers, along with Grant Wood and John Stuart Curry. What made this piece even more extraordinary was its provenance. The drawing had belonged to John Stuart Curry, another legendary regionalist artist. His wife's handwritten note on the back revealed that the artwork had been part of an exchange between Benton and Curry in 1940. In today's booming market for American regionalist art, a gallery could easily list this piece for
$30,000.
The guest laughed in disbelief.
My grandmother, when she passed away, left me all of her jewelry. I'm the only grandchild.
The guest's grandmother was no ordinary woman, a striking beauty who left the quiet life of a Connecticut farm for the glamour of New York City. She carved out a career as a model for Stein & Blaine before becoming a high-end fashion buyer. Her husband was equally impressive, a well-connected man who managed the Sherry Netherlands Hotel, one of the most prestigious addresses in Manhattan during the 1930s. When she passed, she left her only grandchild a dazzling collection of fine jewelry, but among them, one piece stood out, a breathtaking star sapphire ring from Tiffany & Co. At 25 carats, the sale on star sapphire was exceptionally large, with a striking blue hue and a perfectly crisp 6-point star. The setting, made entirely of platinum and diamonds, even had hidden diamonds underneath, an extravagant design feature from the 1920s Art Deco era. Once considered a gentleman's gemstone, star sapphires had traditionally been worn in pinky rings, but Tiffany & Co. saw the demand among fashionable women and crafted a ring fit for a queen. Given its exceptional size, clarity, and provenance, its retail value is at
somewhere in retail and $25,000 to $35,000.
Oh, that's wonderful. My children will be happy to know that.
A jaw-dropping figure for the guest. When the guest inherited a box of jewelry from her grandmother, she had no idea that one small, elegant piece would turn out to be something truly special. Nestled among the treasures was what she assumed to be a beautiful gold bracelet. But a year later, she made a shocking discovery. It was actually a hidden watch.
I found out it was a watch probably a year after I first laid eyes on it, and I don't know anything about it.
As the appraiser carefully opened the discreet door, he confirmed what the guest had only speculated. This was no ordinary timepiece. It was an 18-karat gold Cartier watch from the 1950s, featuring a Jaeger-LeCoultre backwind movement, a hallmark of exceptional craftsmanship. Its design, meant to disguise the watch as a bracelet, was exquisite, embodying Cartier's timeless elegance and innovation. Pieces like this were rare even when they were first made, making them even more coveted today. Given its pristine condition, rarity, and brand prestige, it would likely fetch.
Yeah,
I think if it was to sell at auction, $15,000.
Wow.
The guest gasped in delight, realizing she had been wearing a priceless piece of history on her wrist all along. For over 250 years, these tables have been a constant in the guest's family, passed down through generations like a silent witness to history.
The story is that they come from Boston, and they've been in our family since the Revolutionary War.
Okay.
I don't know if that's true or not.
Though their full origins remained a mystery, their elegance and craftsmanship stood the test of time. The appraiser was immediately intrigued, carefully examining the demi-lune design, a hallmark of early 19th century federal-style furniture. The delicate satinwood inlays, tapered legs, and exquisite carved details spoke of a refined New England craftsmanship, likely Rhode Island, but it was one small intricate feature that truly stunned everyone. A graceful inlaid sprig, a signature mark of Thomas Howard, a revered Providence cabinet maker from the early 1800s. This discovery dramatically changed the table's value. The first, a beautiful yet slightly simpler example, was valued at.
I would estimate this at $5,000 to $8,000 at auction.
Okay.
But the second, with its rare Howard signature, original shellac finish, and rich historical significance, commanded an astonishing
Of $10,000 to $15,000.
Wow. That's fantastic.
It's an incredible table. They both
That's fantastic.
The guest arrived with a framed piece of Disney history, a cherished family heirloom that had graced the walls of their home for as long as they could remember. It had once belonged to their father, a childhood gift from his great-aunt Elizabeth, who had gifted each of his 3 siblings a similar piece. But this particular animation cell had stayed in the family and held a special place in their hearts. This wasn't just any animation cell, it was an original Walt Disney production cell from Fantasia, specifically from the Sorcerer's Apprentice segment. Fantasia, which debuted in 1940 after 3 years of meticulous animation work, was one of Disney's most ambitious projects. The film, featuring classical music conducted by the legendary Leopold Stokowski, was a groundbreaking blend of art and sound. And here, right in front of them, was the most iconic image from the film. Mickey Mouse as the Sorcerer's Apprentice, hat on, eyes wide open, in a dynamic pose that collectors dream of finding. The guest had no idea just how valuable these details were. Also, there was the hand-painted Courvoisier Studios background, a feature that made Disney cells even more collectible. And in the corner, a small but significant WDP seal, Walt Disney Productions' official mark of authenticity. While the market for animation cells has fluctuated over the years, top-tier Disney pieces still commanded serious interest. After careful evaluation, the stunning estimate was...
I would definitely estimate this. I wouldn't even hesitate to estimate this between $9,000 and $12,000.
The guest laughed in shock, having never imagined that a beloved family relic could be worth a 5-figure sum.
And I'm glad you brought it down.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. I appreciate it.